work on our fundamental defensive slides, right? Always focusing on staying low, making sure our slides are done properly so that we get into a game, we can guard somebody the right way. We're not sliding improperly, so now a good offensive move is going to beat us and go by to the basket, right? So the first thing we're going to do, this drill is going to combine defensive slides and transition defense. Now transition defense, you're almost always going to end up boxing out after a shot goes up, so you're almost always going to end up facing the basket this way. So transition defense is going to be played face the basket to sprinting back. So when we do our slides in this, we're going to do slides facing the basket, okay? Now if you can just see what I'm doing right here, we just want to go over a few things that we want to do properly when we slide defensively. The first is we want to always be low, making sure our back is straight, our butt is to the ground, we're sitting down and we're lower than the offensive player. The next thing we want to do is when we slide, so if a man is trying to go by me right here to my right, I always want to step with my outside foot first so I have a quicker angle to cut him off. If I slide with my inside step, he's going to go by me and I'm going to have not enough time to catch up, and he's going to be at the layup, making a layup or kicking out to an open shooter. So now what we want to do is we want to take our outside step and we want to push off our instep and step and then slide, so now we're going to cut off our man a little bit better. All right, so in full speed it will look like step, slide, and we never want to bring our feet closer than shoulder width apart. Maybe a little bit, but the one thing we don't want to do now is we don't want to step and click our heels and stand up. We always want to be low, and we want to slide, choppy step so that we're staying in front of our man, okay? And so what we'll do now with this part is we'll start with our back facing, our chest facing the basket, and we're going to be outside the lane. When we're outside the lane now, we're going to go across the lane and touch the floor with both feet outside the lane, back across the lane, touch the floor again, and then back to the middle. So it'll look kind of like this, except in full speed. And then what we do when we get here is we want to play transition defense. Act like a shot goes up, and we're going to sprint back all the way until about the NBA three-point line, maybe this blue line if you're on a college court, touch it, and now we're sprinting in to get a shot, right? And if we don't have a ball, once again, we want to just simply put our ball down right where you're going to pick it up. So right where we play transition D, we'll get here, pick it up, and then we'll go 2 bounces into a jump shot. Okay? If you have a passer, you just sprint in, have them pass you the ball, you're catching and shooting. Your aim is to make 3, right? You want to make 3, maybe take 3 for the younger guys, and then what you're going to do is as soon as you shoot, you go right back and get right back into your slide again, into transition defense, and back into catching for your shot. And that's the 3rd part of the Gauntlet drill series. Is something we call recovery defense, right? Now this kind of takes place if we're guarding a guard or somebody, a ball handler, in a full court situation and we get beat, we need to know how we can properly recover. A play's not dead just because a guy gets by us, especially in a full court situation. We need to know how we can recover quickly to try and get back in front of him and make a play. So what we want to do is we want to start right over here on the half-court line, acting like we are guarding a guy going this way, right? And all we want to do is simply slide with him until we hit about this red line or so, 5 to 10 feet out. And what we're going to do is now defensively pivot back with our right foot, and now we're going to pretend like that guy just beat us with a crossover move or between the legs. He beat us, and he's off to the races going down the sideline. So what we need to do now is on our pivot when we're beat, we need to pivot right into a sprint. So we're sliding, and as we get here and we plant and we're beat, we need to turn and push off this inside foot so that we're sprinting back. And our goal is to beat him down the sideline and recover somewhere, maybe 20, 30 feet down. If it's a quick guard, you got to keep hustling to get back into play. Something a lot of coaches also teach is as you're sprinting back, get on his pocket and try and shoot the ball from behind. Don't reach and lunge, but sprint through and try and see if you can get a steal from behind and make a play out of a situation where you got beat. So it'll look a little something like this. If we were to do it slowly, we're sliding, 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 and now when we get beat, we're sprinting and getting back in front. And now in our drill, what we're gonna do is after we get back in front, we're just gonna turn, and now we're gonna start taking range jump shots. This is the fourth part of the series, so if you're a good three-point shooter, this is where you take three-point shots. So now you turn, look for a pass, and you're gonna end up spotting up for three, right in this area, taking your three, and now we wanna go for two makes on the threes. Right, if you're a younger guy, maybe 15 to 17 feet is your range, that's where you wanna be. You don't wanna take a three-point shot if you can't make them yet. If you're a high school guy, it's gonna be a three, and you guys can push yourselves, and this is where you get to be a little bit creative. How many shots is a good number for you? And you know what your limit is and what your max is. 2 or 3 is a pretty good number for a high school varsity basketball player. Now, we wanna do that also both sides. This side, switch sides and do it from the other side of the court, and now we're 4 parts in to our Gauntlet defensive shooting drill. Now we're going to work on our 5th fundamental of defense, which is closing out. A very important part of the defensive game for you is how well you're able to recover to an offensive player who has an open shot or a driving opportunity. And we want to always, when we close out, be able to close a guy down in a situation where we're going to be able to A, not give up a wide open shot, and then B, not make ourselves susceptible where we just get blown by. So there's 2 things we need to do. One is, as we come into our closeout, we need to make sure our butt is always low, ready to play defense, and 2, our hand is high, right? Now, how do we get into that position? It's pretty easy. In a closeout situation, you're always gonna find yourself 10 feet away from an offensive player. Normally, a player's catching at the 3-point line, facing the basket, and you need to close him down, right? So what we wanna do is we always wanna, if we're gonna say a man is at the 3-point line, we always want to go from the lane, recognize the closeout situation, take our first 2 steps as hard sprint steps at our man, and our last 6 steps are going to be choppy steps, breaking him down with my hand high and my butt low. So if he does decide to drive now, I can take off and stop him. All right? What we're going to do is we're just going to simply, without a ball, without a pass, start in the middle of the lane and do a closeout out to guard somebody at the 3-point line. Once we get there, after we close 2, chop, 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 hand high, we're simply gonna turn, receive a pass from a partner, and take another 3. And we wanna end with making 3 to 5 threes for a good shooter. So 3 to 5, push yourself at the end, make more shots than you made for the rest of the time. That's the only spot you're doing your closeout drill from. Make sure, once again, if you're alone, this doesn't mean you have to have a partner to do this drill. You can do this drill alone. It just simply means taking a ball, putting where you want it for the next part of the drill. And remember, if you get tired going through it, don't go inside, don't take a break, just go right to the free throw line. Take 5 free throws. If you're tired and you need a 2-minute rest, go to the free throw line, get 5 free throws in, go right back into the next part of the drill. Challenge yourself with this drill. This is a tough drill. This is one that we use up at Hoop Group Skills Camp to work on our defense, our conditioning, and our shooting. Have fun with it, and I hope you guys enjoy the drill.